to see you once again. We're going to talk about faith. Faith, the substance of things hoped for, the evidence of things unseen. It's a very powerful word, and this probably won't be our last discussion on faith. Actually, I can pretty much guarantee you, I have faith that this won't be our last discussion on faith. But I would like to set a foundation for it at least, and that foundation is going to come from a historical event that occurred after Jesus had finished preaching to a multitude of people. It was becoming evening, and he sent his disciples across on a boat. He says, just, go on, I'll meet you on the other side. And he went to be alone and to have some time to pray. Well, late in the night, there was a storm. And when the disciples were looking out onto the storm, they saw Jesus. They saw him coming to them. He's walking on water, okay? And as he's coming, the disciples were like, nah, man, that's like a ghost. That's a spirit or something. I mean, they got scared, as you can imagine. You see somebody walking on water, that's some scary stuff, especially in the middle of a storm. But Peter looked out and he says, hold up. He says, Jesus, if that's you, call me to come to you. Now let's push pause on the story. You see, that's a lot of faith. I don't know about you, but if I'm in a boat and we see somebody walking on water, I'm probably not going to try to talk to him. But Peter saw Jesus. He knew it was Jesus. And he had faith that it was Jesus. And he had enough faith to call out and ask Jesus to call him. Now here's where it gets even more interesting, is that Jesus says, come. Like, let's go, right? So Peter steps out of the boat, and he himself is also walking on water. And he's walking towards Jesus. Now, again, press pause on the story. That's a whole lot of faith. I mean, first off, you're in a storm. You see this person walking on water. Everybody thinks it's a ghost. But Peter, he believed that's Jesus. And so since he saw Jesus, he called out. And this apparition, which turned out to be Jesus, responded and says, come. Now see, the faith to step out of the boat, that's big faith. And so now Peter steps out of the boat and he's walking on water. And then the wind and the waves crashed next to him, and Peter looked and he saw the storm and he became afraid. And as soon as he became afraid, he started to sink. Now, this is part of the platform I want to build, is that faith and fear do not exist simultaneously. You got one or the other. You see, as long as Peter had faith, he was standing on the water. But as soon as fear set in, he doubted himself and he started to sink. And then Jesus came and grabbed him. Now, remember, Jesus walking on water. And he comes and grabs Peter by the arm and saves him from drowning. And he says to Peter, why did you doubt, O ye of little faith? See, Jesus directly addresses Peter's lack of faith and the presence of Peter's fear. And that's the foundation that I want us to set off on. Because a lot of times we set real good New Year's resolutions and whatnot, and we start off with all kinds of energy to do great things. But how many times, think about it, how many times have you set off, I'm going to do this, I'm going to do this, and you get started full of gusto, and then somewhere along the line, it peters out, right? Peter. Anyways, you lose it, right? And so maintaining faith provides the energy to keep on going. As you start moving in a particular direction, there are going to be things that are going to create doubt. There are going to be things that could scare you. But what I'm saying is keep the faith. Don't get scared. And so as we get ready to go into this new year, and you set your resolutions and you set your mind on the things you're going to do different, and you set your mind on change, I want you to also prepare yourself to keep the faith. 2023. Like, share, and follow. And I will see you soon.